On this episode of Whistle Talk, I have the privilege of diving into the world of coaching with a true authority in his field. Our guest needs no introduction in football circles, Coach Bobby Acosta of St. John Vianney High School. Coach Acosta has left an undeniable mark on the sport, from the high school ranks to the collegiate level, even to the NFL. Get ready for a deep dive into the mind of a highly sought-after football coach. This is an episode you don't want to miss. I'm Mike D, the referee, and here we go.
Are you a football fan? Have you ever found yourself wondering what in the world was that ref thinking? Well, Mike D, the referee, is here to help. Join me on Whistle Talk as I talk to professionals on the field and in the booth to help you understand what is going on inside the mind of a football official.
All right, so here we are back on our next episode of Whistle Talk, and our guest today is head coach of St. John Vianney, Mr. Bobby Acosta. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on. This means
Absolutely.
a lot.
Absolutely. So a little back history. Coach Acosta and I kind of go, we've known each other for quite a long time. Started back in our teaching careers at Marlboro High School in New Jersey. Coach Acosta was there for a couple of years, and then we crossed paths again a few years later, coaching another high school team for another year. I'm going to let Coach Acosta jump in now and talk about his background. It is a very well and highly regarded background that Coach Acosta has put together, an incredible resume. So I'm going to pass it over to him. Coach, let everybody know about your coaching acclimats.
Well, I'm going to keep it short because I've been in a lot of places. But yeah, Marlboro High School is all where it started. 27 years old, head football coach, PE job there. And, I didn't know what I was doing. I tried to call the offense, defense, and special teams, I think, all at once.
Oh.
And so my journey took me to a lot of places because I wanted to learn the sport, wanted to learn coaching philosophies. And when we actually caught up again at Monmouth Regional High School, I thought I had a good way of doing things. I had a system, had an offensive system. I learned how to manage people. And we were very successful.
Yeah.
We were very successful, and we had some great players. The one player I compared to J.J. McCarthy a lot was Tommy D'Ambrisi.
And nice compliment.
Yeah. And I told D'Ambrisi that the other day that I used to talk to J.J. about him. But, from Monmouth, my head football coach, Casey Keeler, became the head coach of Delaware. And didn't bring us the first time, but he gave me an opportunity to go down there when Joe Flacco was the quarterback. So we had a chance to go to the national championship there. And then, I wanted to, again, explore other options. I wanted to be a coordinator. So I went to the college in New Jersey where my twin brother played receiver. And I became the offensive coordinator there. And, and then my career became the head coach at Widener. Went down to Syracuse University after I turned down the job twice because I wanted to be the head coach of Widener, and had a chance to coach Power 5 ACC football, recruit New Jersey. And, we tried to really enhance the program, and then it happened 2 years later at Cornell, then Bucknell. And then Bucknell, I thought I was in the running for the head coaching job and didn't get it. And I went out to Minnesota, the College of St. Scholastica, where I really understood football, understood what you had to do if you didn't have a lot of talent. My quarterback there was a dynamic football player, and, got an opportunity to showcase what we did offensively. And IMG gave me a call and went down there and won a national championship the first year. And then, we played Duncanville in Texas, and I fell in love with Texas football. 20,000 plus people at games. So the school out in Texas gave me a call while I was at RMG and said, hey, wanted to see if you're interested in the job in Texas. You go down there, you see the facilities, indoor facility. It looks like a college campus. So I tried that for 2 years, but our team wasn't very good. And then I dipped back into college football where I learned a lot. I got sick. I lost my vision, my right eye. I detached my retina, and it gave me time to really take a step back to see what I really wanted. And I wanted to be back with my kids in New Jersey. And this job opened up at St. John Vianney, where one of our Coach Lamberson was our
Yep.
linebackers coach. He's the AD here. Our president, I was about to hire him as an offensive coordinator when I was at Monmouth. He's the president of our school here, Steve. And DeMezza, his wife, was his PE teacher at Monmouth Regional High School. And I've been having a blast. And I want to
Nice.
create a great program here. That academics is important, but what I'm learning here is we're putting God in the centerpiece of what we're doing. And so
Okay.
you have God, you have God, you have academics, you have family. Those are three great qualities for us to have success in the future.
Good stuff, Coach. So, for the listeners out there, as you heard from Coach Acosta talking about, he's well-traveled, been all different levels, which is why I asked him to come on today. With all of his background, with all of his knowledge, with the traveling, you've had to have seen a bunch of amazing things. I mean, at IMG Academy, like Coach Acosta said, he won the national championship. He's got, two guys that are going to be possible first-round draft picks this year.
Yeah.
So a national schedule. You've gone and seen and you've been officiated by a number of different types of people and different state associations and things like that. First of all, just in the coaching aspect, how did that transition back and forth? Because you were out of high school, then at college, then back out of high school. How did that work for you with your mindset and different things like that?
Well, as an offensive coach, it's the hashes. High school hashes so wide. And now in the college game, they're by the uprights. So spacing within my offense, our offense is all about spacing.
Okay.
I mean, with the wide hashes, it definitely, the spacing was eliminated. So we had to find ways of adjusting our offense because we did play with college rules at IMG.
Okay.
So, but the hashes were high school hashes.
Gotcha.
And so we had to adjust. But the spacing part within our offense was different. And I had to adjust the alignment of our offense.
Okay. So who was one of your bigger influences when it comes to, and again, a little backstory, Coach Acosta was a defensive guy in college, and now he's an offensive guru around the country. Who would you say was probably your biggest influence when it comes to your coaching career?
Well, there's a couple. I think when I went to the college in New Jersey the first time, Rich Alorcio,
okay,
I was a defensive coach, and he taught me offensive football. And then that actually helped me out when I went to Monmouth Regional High School. And then Coach Keeler hired me at Delaware, where Kurt Sharaka, he's now the OC for Rutgers. He really taught me how to, game plan and all the little things that you don't see on game day.
Okay.
Taught me how to draw up cards. But Noel Mazzoni is my ultimate mentor, and George McDonald.
Okay.
Those both guys, George is, I've worked for him with the Cleveland Browns, and now I'm his son's godfather.
Oh,
so you see where the relationships happen there. And he taught me the wide receiver world. And then Noel Mazzoni taught me the schemes when I was his intern for the Jets. And now we have that business end zone. We educate coaches across the country with offensive spread football. So, ultimately, at the end of it, it's Coach Mazzoni, Coach McDonald, and Coach Keeler is still a father figure in my life.
Good
and,
stuff.
So we definitely talk a lot still.
So transitioning now into a little bit more of a whistle talk. Let's dive into a little bit. How is officiating affected? And you mentioned it with your play calling, the hashes are being different and things like that. Have you seen different types of officials, different styles of officiating through your travels?
Yeah. When I was younger, you didn't really study the game as well. And Marlboro, I didn't know what they were calling. You don't know the signals well. You don't understand that. All right, if they're going to move the ball 5 yards and why. But, as I became older, I started learning, how to use the officials for the advantage for the offense.
Okay.
So when I was at the college in New Jersey, I understood where I needed to set the mesh with the official. And sometimes we set a pick. So, and then when I was at Syracuse, we actually studied the officials with the RPOs. So
Okay.
the person calling the ball down the field, he actually, he's watching the football. And when you throw the ball, he actually watched them catch the football. And then he looks back to see if the offensive lineman crossed him. If the offensive line call crosses him, he's going to throw the flag.
Yep.
So we use a reverse call. As soon as the ball is out, the all lineman would say reverse, reverse, reverse. They'll try to get back so we don't call linemen down the field.
Okay.
Yeah. So IMG, I think, I wasn't from the state of Florida, so it was anti-Coach Acosta. The officials did not like me in the first game. But I built a relationship with them.
Okay.
So throughout meeting the officials and beginning the game is building the relationship, a positive relationship.
Yes.
And I told my coaches, I'm the only one that I'm allowed to talk to the officials, no one else. So at the end of the season, these officials, they want to take pictures with me because they say, Coach, we've never seen such a positive coach and interaction with the officials in our entire career. So my mindset now is build a positive relationship with the officials because they're in pressure situations also.
Yep.
And they have to make some calls. And they're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. They don't yell at me when they call bad play. You know what I mean? So why would I yell at them if they miss a call? I never said a bad call. I said they missed a call.
Yeah.
And my biggest phrase I used to say, hey, you owe me one. And usually you get it back. So, but that's my biggest mindset right now with officials. Build a relationship with them. Now, if you get them for 2 games, they know you. They say, hey, you're not going to have trouble with your sidelines. No, we're good. I have a get-backs coach. Okay. And usually they're going to work with you. They're going to work with you.
Yeah, definitely. And I've talked about this on a couple of my previous episodes. Building that relationship and that pregame talk that you have with the officials, getting to know their names and different things like that, getting to know the coach's name, what coach that we're going to look to on the sideline to communicate with. Those are all things that do play a big part in the role. And to disagree with Coach Acosta, he's not getting that one back. We like to let them think that they are, but we're calling it as even as we can. So we're not trying to, we missed one and no payback type of call here and there. So but we try to keep it consistent throughout. Yeah.
And you know what? I want my players to act that way too, that they give the respect to the officials.
Okay.
And it goes from top to bottom to top. And I want the officials to enjoy our experience on the field together.
Yep. Listen, bottom line ultimately is it is a game being played by young adults, young men, grown men, but it's still a game. So sometimes it does cost a lot of money or can be worth a lot of money for a lot of people. But I like to keep it still having fun. And especially at the high school level, I'd rather still teach too. I'm a teacher at heart. I'd still rather teach the game and conversate with the players, with the coach. Hey, coach, I'm seeing 78. He keeps on holding. I'm going to have to bang him next time. I'll go up to 78. Keep your hands inside or wherever it is what they're saying. So different things like that do help build the relationship and make the game run a lot smoother, I think, on both ends, on your end as a coach, as my end as an official, and ultimately for the players themselves.
Yes, I agree with that.
So now you brought up a topic I was going to ask you about, the RPO stuff. Now, I'm an umpire. I'm in the middle of the field. In New Jersey, umpires, we're still on the defensive side of the ball. I'm typically about 7 to 9 yards off the line of scrimmage. I'm hanging out with the linebackers throughout the game. I've got safeties creeping up behind me and stuff like that. You mentioned about the RPOs with the illegal man downfield. Can you explain how you did a great job talking about it in the college level? How about at the high school level? Are you finding it more difficult for the players to understand that? Because for those people that don't know, RPO is a run pass option, RPO, where the quarterback is reading a particular defender and making the option. Am I going to throw the ball downfield or am I going to hand it off or keep it themselves for the run play? And the linemen, well, they're not paying attention to the ball. They're paying attention to their assignment. So do you notice a difference between the high school level and the college level with finding guys downfield?
Yeah, at the college level, the officials would tell you got 3-yard cushion.
Yep.
and I think in high school you have less, but
2 yards.
2 yards. And then, I'm running different pull schemes to really allow us to still get the pull of the defense and not get guys on the field.
Okay.
So yes, it is changing my thought process up. I might get more, pull, power, counter to the scheme, so we're not down the field.
Okay. So trying to keep the guys more on the line of scrimmage or even behind the line of scrimmage on the counter scheme and the power schemes and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely almost an opinion type of call too, because and for me, they actually the state of New Jersey took the responsibility away from me now as the umpire. It's now to the short wing officials to be looking for the illegal man downfield. But then we also and I used to be a short wing, knowing where the ball was released and where the lineman was when the ball was released, as opposed to where the ball was caught, because some guys move a little bit quicker. And at the higher levels, you're seeing those offensive linemen. I mean, heck, we just had the combine a couple weeks ago, and you're seeing big offensive linemen, 300 plus pounds. They're running into 4.9s and stuff like that. And that's moving for a big fella. So it's something that we're being mindful of. And it was a point of emphasis that was brought out by the National Association a couple of years ago for us to really focus on, to try to curtail it, because we want to keep it as an even game. And so the other thing now, being a spread team, you guys run a lot of screen games.
Yes, and that's what we are. We're a big RPO screen team.
Okay.
Yep.
So another point of emphasis was the offensive interference of the basically the blocking downfield and different things like that. Have you seen a difference between that at the college level, at the high school level?
Well, at the college, you can set up the pick or whatever you want to set, but then you can turn your shoulders and still have the defender run through you. But I think at the high school level, that's going to get called, and you can chime in on that. But, unfortunately, I'm an offensive coach, so I'm trying to find ways to enhance the blocks.
And as an official, we do understand that the offensive guy does have the right to the space and stuff like that too. And if they are truly running a route, they're running a route. It's unfortunately you find at the high school level, the kids aren't as good as actors as the college and NFL guys with how they're running their quote unquote, their rub routes or their pick routes. And they're just sometimes just laying into a linebacker coming across and different things like that. Or me being the umpire in the middle of the field, as you like to mention that you run the mesh off of the umpire.
You're not going to forget that one. Well, we run a lot of...
Not the first or last time. I've set some good picks in my lifetime, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we run a lot of RPOs, but we also call it a term SPO, screen pass out. So we'll read a quick game to the field. If it's not there, we'll run a slip screen backside. So we have the officials' eyes trying to search for the ball. And usually you can see on tape that they can't find the football sometimes.
That was an old Green Bay Packer play right there, running the quick game. And then the lineman, no, quick game, get downfield afterwards and being swung out. Brett Favre made a killing on those plays.
Yeah. And so... I do see, I think in the future, RPOs are going to become a play that's going to be highly, scrutinized. And I think, officials are going to have to really call that play tougher.
Mm-hmm.
But now also that tailback pick out of the backfield into the flat, you have three receivers setting the wall as a pick. Everyone ran that this year.
Yep.
But I don't know, like their offensive plays, and they're a big part of our offense.
Yeah,
especially in the blue zone because of the man coverage.
So now, IMG is a school down in Bradenton, Florida. Here you are back in New Jersey, coaching high school football in the state of Texas. What kind of crews were you seeing at these? Were they 7-man crews? Were they 8-man crews, 5-man crews? New Jersey, we're typically a 6-man crew. So you're going to have an umpire and a referee across from each other, two short wings on the sidelines and two deep wings on the sidelines. As you get to the higher level games, the championship games, you'll see that seventh official playing center field. What was kind of the norm that you saw in the different states, Coach?
It was a 7-man crew.
Okay.
IMG was a 7-man crew. I think we might have had one 8-man crew, but it was against Duncanville in Texas.
Okay.
So I'm trying to remember what we had in Texas. I don't remember. But so you're saying in New Jersey is a typical 6-man?
Traditionally 6-man. There's a rare occasion where you're going to have a 5-man crew these days, but most of the games now are going to be 6-man games, unless unfortunately, one of the problems that we've been having on the officiating side, kind of like a lot of other things going on in the world, is since COVID, our numbers have kind of decreased a little bit. It is starting to go up, just like the number of athletes are starting to go back up. So the world is kind of righting the ship, per se. But yeah, so there were times everybody wants to play Friday nights, and we have a certain amount of crews that are ready to go on Friday nights. And sometimes we were having to pull crews from different associations across the state to make the long travel to come to our area, particularly for games. And unfortunately, sometimes there were 5-man crews.
Yeah, in Texas, there was games on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because of all the official problems.
Yep.
They were short. They had shortages down in Texas. So they actually started high school football games on Wednesday down there. And then you still had to fit we had 2 freshman teams, 2 JV teams, and a varsity team.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we have over 300 kids in our program. But I remember playing on a Wednesday. I'm like, why are we playing on a Wednesday? It's because of the officials. They didn't have enough.
Yeah, the traditional Friday night lights, they're still trying to keep it here, but we're starting to see some of the Thursday night games because of that. And other schools have elected to go with, instead of Saturday afternoon, if they want to still keep the night game under the lights, they've been going a couple of Saturday night games. It's not too often, and they're trying to keep the Sundays free for basically rain days and different things like that. So,
yeah.
Go on, Coach. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
I'm like, yeah, I saw that. There was definitely a problem with that.
Okay. So you had mentioned it before about how you're the only coach that talks to the officials.
Mm-hmm.
What about if it's a controversial call? How do you try to approach it on a call that maybe didn't go your way? And again, on the last episode, we discussed something that just recently happened in our local area in a basketball game. We don't have the replay system in New Jersey, so unfortunately, one team did lose a heartbreaking game where the officials did have an outcome, unfortunately, in the game where we try to kind of be unseen as best that we can. So how do you go at it, heat of the moment? How do you try to breathe, in essence, when a controversial call doesn't go your way?
Timeout. I use one of my timeouts to just get that disgust. What I mean? I think I have a game where it was overturned because you allowed the officials to come all together.
Yes.
And talk about it. And so I called timeout. I expressed my, what I saw. Mm-hmm. And they get together. In Texas, they're all mic'd up. So I'm like, get together, talk about it. And they did I forget what the call was, but they did overturn the call. And we actually won the game because of it.
Okay.
We went for it, and we scored the 2-point play.
So now then on the flip side, what was the other coach like? What was the other sideline like? What were the other fans like in a scenario like that?
Yeah, the parents in the stands, I thought they were going to bum rush the field. But, I like what we did. We had security, get the officials right after the game. They run off the field, and they head back to the locker room. But, it's a tough, where parents are today. I think they disrespect officials. I heard in the basketball game the other day saying, you missed that call, get a pair of glasses. And I'm like, no, most of the time they get the call right.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I really feel for you guys too in some situations, but they're like that with the coaches also.
Yes, they are. That was actually one of the reasons why I made the transition, because I was getting yelled at as I was walking off the field after we won a game, and I thought I did something well. I'm like, well, heck, now if I got the stripes on, I know somebody's going to be mad at me. But, as you brought it up, that is actually one of the things that we do as a group, as an association. It is, we always talk about that we want to hustle. We don't want to rush. We want to get to our spots, get to our keys as quickly as we can, but without it being a rush, so that we are seeing everything. And there are times where we're going to drop the flag what seems like 3-4 minutes after a play, which really is only a couple of seconds, where we're going to talk it over and discuss it and see different things that are going on before we do throw that flag. So, and there's other times now where we're going to throw a flag and we're going to bring it in, go to our white hat, go to our head official, discuss it. And there are times where we're like, no, we messed that one up, wave it off. And our crew, we tried to pride ourselves that we don't have egos. So if I throw a flag and I got another person that comes up, another official that comes up and says, no, Mike, I had a really good angle on that. That was a clean play. All right, pick it up. Let's go. Move on. Let's play football from there. And vice versa. Like, it's something, either we're dropping the flag a little bit late or we're possibly waving one off, because, again, we want to officiate the game as evenly as possible and to the rules as best as possible. So having the extra set of eyes, it helps. So, Coach, got a new segment that I started a couple weeks ago that I'm going to throw you in. It is now quiz time for you. So we got a segment called Flagged Facts. So I'm going to present Coach here with a couple of questions dealing with officiating, and we're going to see how Coach does in this segment, on how well, as the coach, he does know the rules. So here we go. We got some cheering going on. All right. So let me just share my screen with you, Coach. Oh, it's not letting me share. All right. We may just have to read them off to you.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So with these questions, and I'm going to go back, I'll have them posted on the live stream. But with these questions here now, Coach, you're going to hear it in referee talk now, not football talk as you're accustomed to, and coach talk where you're sitting at clinics, but now it's at a football clinic, football officiating clinic time. So question number 1, A, 3rd and goal from the B6. Running back A46 runs to the B2 and fumbles into the end zone, where it is then recovered by A81. What do you think you got there?
Well, I did the spelling bee with my team. You may have to repeat the question.
That's fine. So I'll give it to you now in football coach talk. Offense has the ball, 3rd and goal from the going in 6-yard line. Hand the ball off. The running back runs to the 2-yard line, and they fumble it now into the end zone, where it's recovered by a wide receiver. What do you got?
Touchdown.
Touchdown is correct.
Same question with different terminology. And
Absolutely.
All right, so now I know how you get into either A. Is it A, 2nd and 7, the next one, or what?
So question number 2 is A, 2nd down and 7, 2nd and 7 from the A35, meaning their own 35-yard line. Wide receiver A83, so number 83, accidentally steps out of bounds at the 47-yard line, and while still out of bounds, jumps. While in the air, A83 receives the pass and lands inbounds at the 48-yard line, where he falls to the ground with control of the ball.
That's an easy
there.
That's an incomplete pass, right?
You sure? Final answer?
Yeah. Final answer.
100%. The receiver never reestablished themselves inbound, so it is going down as an incomplete pass, because technically, when they jumped from the out-of-bounds position, they continued to be out of bounds until they reestablished themselves back inbounds, so that would be an incomplete pass. A lot of people will think that that might be an illegal touching or illegal participation, but it is not. It is just an incomplete pass. There is no flag on that.
Are you throwing the hat?
So, great question. As officials, that's not part of our mechanics. We just have to verbally discuss it with the coach, because a lot of the coaches are like, I didn't see the hat on the ground. So a common answer that we like to say is, Coach, it's not Sunday around here. So it's not the NFL rule where you're seeing everything on TV where they're dropping the hat. The only time you'll really see a hat is if an official has two flags and two different penalties, and they don't have a second flag in their possession. You may see a flag. You may see a hat thrown in that scenario, but that's not really part of the mechanic.
Okay. Good.
All right. So our third and final question. A, 2nd and 20 from the A 45-yard line. During a pass, B 25 interferes with A 82 at the B 25-yard line. The pass falls incomplete. Coach, as a former defensive back, what do we got?
You got pass interference.
Okay, you're correct on that. Defensive pass interference. So you'll hear us officials just say it as DPI. Okay, defensive pass interference. Where's the ball going to go to? So the penalty happened at the B25. It was 2nd and 20 from their own 45. The penalty happened at the 25 of the opposing team. Where are we spotting the ball?
Well, it's a 15-yard penalty, right?
Correct.
So 25, 15 is going to be on the 10-yard line.
So you're going to go 15 yards from the spot of the foul or from the previous line of scrimmage?
Oh, man. It can't be a spot foul. And it should be, in college, it's automatic first down.
It's automatic first down in college, and it's automatic first down in the NFL. But again, this is not Sunday. In high school, you are correct. It is defensive pass interference. It is a 15-yard penalty. But in this scenario, you started off at 2nd and 20 from the A45. The outcome is 2nd and 5 from the B40. Defensive pass interference is not an automatic first down. It's got to be by the yardage. So if it was 2nd and 10 and it was a 15-yard penalty, then it would be a first down in that scenario.
Well, I would say to the official, give me the best scenario. Give me the best result.
And again, as the officials in New Jersey, we are also mic'd up now. So we're going to have somebody over with you, with the captains, with the coach, saying, Coach, these are your options. Obviously, there are some fouls that we kind of just, to keep the game speed going, that we're going to know, okay, you're definitely going to be accepting that. Coach, we're going to spot the ball here, repeat of 2nd down, 2nd and 5. And how come it's not a first down? How come it's not a first down? Coach, high school, it's only a 15-yard penalty. It is not a spot foul, and it's not an automatic first down.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
All right, Coach. One more applause for you. Well done, Coach. Sorry, I apologize that I couldn't have the graphic up there for you.
I think I got a 90 though. I gotta do this again in the future.
I got a feeling that you're going to get quizzed a lot in the upcoming years.
Got it.
So, talking about now the different states and different things like that, and you going from the different levels, what kind of rules changes have you seen recently that you think are positively affecting the game? And are there any rule changes that you've seen that you kind of don't really agree with? Like,
I think the cut blocking, in Texas, we can cut block.
Okay.
And then in Florida, we couldn't cut block. So when I was at IMG, in every state that we played, we had to really understand the rules.
Okay.
We played in Tennessee, we couldn't cut block. So, that was a unique time, because you have to look up the rules in that state and go based on the rules. So when they played in New Jersey, I wasn't there. They had to use New Jersey rules.
Okay.
So we had to we were flexible to, the rules in that current state. But, I like them getting rid of the cut block. It was a safety issue. It's a dangerous block.
Yep.
I think the targeting, oh boy, what is that? It's protecting players.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an offensive guy now, but I did play defense, and you know, I got called once or twice for spearing when I played.
Okay.
You know, and I think the safety of our student athlete is the most important. So
And
the
again,
rules
for the listeners out there that don't understand spearing, it's kind of leading with the crown of your head, leading with the forehead with the helmet in essence, and it's not only causing damage to the person who's getting hit, but unfortunately, we've now seen a higher incident now of it actually hurting the person who is delivering that hit, unfortunately, with neck injuries and different things like that.
Yeah. So anything with protecting the, blind shot hits, like you got to see the whites of the player's eyes. Launching, I'm totally against that. Like, we practice how to tackle correctly.
Okay.
So we're not getting penalties. And even when we offensive linemen, when they block, we're teaching on how, when your guys are going to call it, as soon as they pull away, we let go.
Okay.
So, but I think the safety rules, I'm all about it. Protecting the quarterback, protecting the defensive receiver or running back. I think we need to enforce more with the spearing of running backs. They putting their head down and delivering that blow with the crown of the helmet. I see that a lot happening. So I think our kids need to be educated. Our coaches need to be educated in that area.
And we talked. I just mentioned before about the neck injuries, but also you're still seeing a very high rate of student athletes with the concussion rate being very high because of plays just like that particularly. And ironically enough, like, I'm a little bit older than Coach Acosta, but back in our high school days and college days, a lot of the hits that we're referring to right now, well, those were the highlight films, those peel back blocks and those guys getting laid out and stuff like that. But we've seen a very high propensity now of what that long-term outcome has happened to some of those players that have delivered those blows a number of times in their lifetime, and the post-concussion syndrome and different things like that. It's real, it's scary, and unfortunately, I'm familiar with some people that have gone through it and the impact that it's had on their life 20, 30 years later now. So it's not only on you, the coach, to teach those techniques like you mentioned, but it's also now on us to enforce those techniques to protect the students as best as possible. I mean, it's a contact sport, and there's no getting around that. But we could still try to make it as safe as possible for the student athletes.
Yep, I agree with that.
So now, how do you go about educating your coaching staff on different rules, maybe even the players on the different rules you mentioned, going from state to state? Now, I know Texas, in particular, Texas is not in the National Federation for high school officials. We have a NFHS that kind of put out our rule book, and Texas is, I think, one of two states where they have their own rule book, as you're talking about with the cut blocking and stuff like that. But how did you go about with particularly IMG of getting those athletes ready for that game and those set of rules?
Yeah, IMG was unique. Like, we used to bring officials in to practice. So our practices were like college style setup. So we did bring the officials in. They used to educate our players on every snap. And then at the end of practice, they would just give a little clinic. Texas, I actually brought, people in Zoom to talk about the rules to our players and coaches.
Okay.
And, I think I'm going to do that here also. You may be the person that helps us with that.
I'm game. I'm game to help educate everybody, and heck, maybe get some officials out of it ourselves.
Yep. And, I think every time there's an interaction between coaches, you can see what coaches are thinking about with certain plays and how you can enhance. I'll tell you this, like at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, like they said our balls were overinflated. And I'm like, I've never had that, underinflated.
So you guys are like anti-Tom Brady, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, all right. I said, all right, our quarterbacks don't like the ball that hard, so take out the ball, air a little bit.
The receivers, I'm sure, didn't like it either.
No. But I think you develop that relationship like we talked about, and the game could be a really neat game. The practice I have is after the game, you go into their locker room, bring them some Gatorade, some towels, and say, "Hey, thank you very much." And those little things could go a long way.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
So that you kind of just highlighted on my last question that I have for you, just instilling values to your players, to your community, your football community, on sportsmanship and fair play and dealing with adversity. How do you go about helping to educate those kids? Because I mean, IMG was a unique scenario for you as a high school coach. You do have a good number of those players that were going on to a lot of major colleges, but at most high schools, most of these kids are going to be lucky if they're playing college football, or after college football. I mean, the percentage of them going on to a professional athlete is marginal. So how do you like to instill those life lessons to them in the high school level?
Yeah, I think as a coach, we want to show what we want in return from our kids. We want to model the behavior.
Okay.
Staying composed, being a teacher at all times, showing respect. If you have a coach yelling at the officials, guess what's going to happen? The kids are going to yell at the officials. And, I use a term called 5-star character.
Okay.
Demonstrate the 5-star character in every part of your life, on the field, off the field, have impact on people. So, when a player runs a ball and he gives the ball to the official and thank him, you have an impact.
Yep.
So, I love when after every game, the officials will come up to me and said, you have a very disciplined football team. And that means a lot to me. Yep. Because ultimately discipline is the factor to becoming a great dad, becoming a great employee. And if I can instill discipline in our student athletes right now, and passion and all these qualities they need to be successful in life, we're doing our part.
Absolutely.
As educators, as coaches, as officials, I think everyone has a place on that football field, everyone has a place to enhance student athletes' lives with the game that we call football.
100% agree. 100% agree with that. It's a great fraternity, I like to call it. And just when you step out there on a Friday night, Saturday afternoon, we're all there for the same reason and looking to help promote the game and just to promote people. Sportsmanship is definitely of the utmost importance in the game. Well, Coach, I want to thank you for coming on our show today. Really do appreciate it. Guys, Bobby Acosta, fantastic coach, even better human being. Come September, October, if you're in the Homedale area, shoot over St. John Vianney, go catch one of their games. Coach is doing an awesome job there, starting up his first year with the program there, but from all indications, doing a great job. So I'd like to thank you once again, Coach Acosta, for coming on our show tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. This was fun, but I don't know if I want to be an official after these rules. There's a lot to learn.
It is, but it makes it a little bit easier coming from your seat into my seat too. So that definitely helped out.
There you go. Yeah, appreciate you for having me on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Whistle Talk, where we unravel the fascinating world of football officiating. If you enjoyed today's discussion and want to stay in the loop with the latest insights, be sure to subscribe to Whistle Talk on your favorite podcast platform. Stay connected with us by following Whistle Talk on social media, where we share behind-the-scenes glimpses, updates, and engage with our incredible community of officiating enthusiasts. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search for the words Whistle Talk. Your support means the world to the show, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future episodes. Drop us a line through our website or message me on social media. I'm always eager to connect with the fellow fans and continue the conversation. Until next time, keep blowing the whistle on the untold stories and nuances of football officiating. Thanks for being part of the Whistle Talk family. This is Mike D., the referee, saying so long for now.